Put your pussy lips on live, I'll give you $1,000.
Microphone check 1 2 1 2. If you don't know this podcast, it's cool. Ladies and gentlemen, Caitlin and Bruce, welcome to the Judgment Podcast. This is episode 8.
Is it?
I think this is 8.
Okay.
I think this is episode 8. I haven't kept count. I'm your host, Dontavius Rowe, and I'm here with Vince.
Hello.
Unfortunately, Ricky and Macho are not here today. I'm going to start getting used to saying that.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not here today, so it's just us. And how you been?
I've been pretty good.
That's good. So me and Vince was talking off camera, and we came up with a subject without actually coming up with the subject. Because there's going to be a lot of times where we don't have shit to talk about. And that's because me and Vince, in particular, do not pay attention to a lot of this shit that goes on in this world, because a lot of this shit is depressing. And I'm in too much of a good space to be dealing with depressing shit. I'm going to just be honest with you. So, sometimes I don't want to talk about this shit. There are times where I just want to enjoy my homeboys, have a good ass conversation about whatever the fuck comes up, and hopefully we can get a laugh out of it or a viral moment, because all it takes is one time to go viral, and next thing you know it, we're successful. Which was a podcast idea I did have for us.
Being successful?
Handling success. Because I just witnessed one of my favorite people, Joe Budden. Anybody who knows me knows that Joe Budden is my favorite MC, and he's my favorite podcaster. I just witnessed him and friends that he had for over a decade break up over money after having one of the best 5-year runs in podcast history.
What happened?
Well, they had contract disputes,
Okay.
and Joe was letting them, they wanted to see the numbers. Joe showed them the numbers. They disagreed with the numbers, and they felt like Joe was taking too much, and he was like, no, you guys were getting paid more than me. And they just had a disagreement with the money. And I told myself, whenever all 4 of us are able to have this conversation, I wanted to have that conversation because I see a lot of success in our future. I think I have the right 4 people to do this with and be successful with. So I was like, what's going to happen when we're all successful? How do we handle that? How do we deal with each other now that we're in a position of success?
Why? I mean,
Because some people get successful and forget where the fuck they came from, or forget the people that was with them in the beginning that wanted to see them success, or the people that worked with them to get there.
so I like money.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
Yes. Who doesn't?
It isn't okay. It is a motivator for me. It's like, you know, I'll work extra hours to, you know, whatever. And
Right.
it I don't think it would change me very much.
I honestly think it wouldn't change me very much either.
I mean, I probably would. I would probably. I may actually eat out more often. You know, go to, you know, like Culver's or Taco. I mean, wherever.
Right.
I probably do that more often.
Listen.
But I mean, other than that, I mean, I'm.
Yeah, but like I said, it's just like that type of thing would change people, and I really don't want us to go through that, because there are going to be ups and downs in this podcast. I already know. because like we're new, our views are low right now, but we're getting there. Like it's a slow process. I'm not saying that every video we put out should get 100K views or some shit. Purpose of me doing this podcast is because one, I'm tired of coming into a building where I gotta answer to somebody. And I'm also want to enjoy my family more. I just lost a family member.
Yeah.
So family has now became way more important to me. And in order for me to get where I need to get in order to be with my family more, I want to do what I love. Because I actually love podcasting. I love sitting with y'all, shooting the shit, and cracking inappropriate jokes.
So I think the only issue that we have right now is that we're still trying to get into our, I guess, groove.
Yes, I feel like once we're in the rhythm,
quite yet.
yeah, like once we're in the rhythm, oh, we're gonna cook.
Yeah.
But the problem is consistency. Me or you are the only consistent ones. Now, I understand Ricky's situation. Life happens. Macho, just like getting ass. But
Well, you know what we should do? We should have a spot where we have Macho come by and he brings his the girl with him, and she should be more. Actually, one of the ideas that someone threw to me about the podcast, is that we should probably have a girl also.
we should have a female host.
At least one, yeah. Because it would bring up, because as it is right now, it's a bunch of guys, and we're talking about guy stuff, and we only talk about the female perspective from our perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it may be beneficial, at least for some of the things that we talk about, if we also had a girl, a woman, to talk about those types of things, bounce stuff off of. And she could ask us questions about stuff that she may not understand, go back and forth. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, Macho will probably show up.
Oh my goodness.
No, seriously, because out of the four of us, it shouldn't be two people that's consistent. Like I said, I understand Ricky's situation. Life happens. But at the same time, it shouldn't just be me and you, because this is not a two-person pod. This is a four-person pod. These personalities that we have makes up a great pod. And I kind of feel like it's not being taken as seriously as it should. But I also understand that with them, life happens.
Is there any way that we could have guests?
I have no problem with having guests.
I'm saying, like,
No, like I said, I do want guests because, like I said, having Harold was a good touch. Ty, whenever he's over here, is a good touch. Like, it's always fun hearing a different perspective. Now, I did think about adding a female to the pod, but I don't want it. I don't know how to explain this one.
use your words.
Shut up. It's no. I would like to have a female. But I don't want it to turn into a freak fest. I want it to be. I want to to be able to have an actual conversation with the female instead of just dirty jokes all day.
Well, we have dirty jokes when they're not here.
I know, but it's going to get dirtier because now she's here. And let's say if she's cute, you don't see macho when he's in front of a female.
Oh, that'll be great. That's great television.
And then it's going to make me worse because now
That's great television, man.
Because now I gotta tell Macho shut the fuck up
Right.
more times than I should.
Right.
And
I
we
watch
already got a compilation of
I
me
watch
telling him to shut the fuck up.
Right. I watch it.
Oh, jeez.
I'm just saying. I watch it.
You would watch that. That's terrible.
No, that's great.
That's terrible. Because now I'm at a point like I said, having a female would be a great touch. Because, it creates conversation. But I just don't want one of those females that oh jeez, I don't know how to explain this one.
Then what type of female would you want to be on the
I
show?
want a female that's open-minded and doesn't see things one-sided.
And if they don't see things one-sided, how do they see things?
Like from a broader spectrum, from all sides of the spectrum. That I want her to be able to understand where we're coming from, as well as us understand where she's coming from.
Okay.
I don't want it to turn into an argumentative thing when we add a female, because I'm not interested in arguing with anybody. Man, woman, tranny, refrigerator, however the fuck you want to identify yourself as. Because I'm really getting tired of these motherfuckers talking about something. I'm non-binary. What the fuck is a non-binary person? Bitch, are you a man or a woman? Pick a fucking side. Pick a fucking side. Because when you die, they're going to say man or woman.
Well, at that point, it doesn't really make that much of a difference.
Like, seriously. As much as I love Demi Lovato, anybody that thinks like her is a fucking idiot to me. You're a fucking idiot. Are you a man or are you a woman? I don't want to hear none of this non-binary shit. That sounds like some shit that belongs on Mass Effect. We're a non-binary race of people that do non-binary things.
And
My powers are binary.
And apparently you're from the south part of space.
Right. You're from the southern part of Mars, you stupid motherfucker. Like, seriously, that shit is trash to me. That shit is trash. And I know we was talking about something else, but every time I think about that shit, it's like, it gets irritating.
Well,
It's really fucking irritating.
well, my understanding of it is that
fuck it. Non-binary.
it's really interesting if you really think about it, because there are certain stereotypical traits that men tend to have, and there are certain stereotypical traits that women tend to have.
Mm-hmm.
And when someone's non-binary, they're saying that they don't want to have either of those traits. But unfortunately, you're going to have some of one side of those traits, whether you want to, because both genders,
Mm-hmm.
cover a lot of different traits. So, regardless of whichever way you go, you're still going to have people think you're one or the other, however you identify. But actually, one thing about
And then they do it to the point now you gotta change the way you talk. Like it's them or they, or like why the fuck do you have to go through all of that? Bitch, are you a man or a female?
Oh man, so this
Like,
okay. This is gonna go. This is a sidestep to what you're talking about, but it's still in a similar vein.
Okay.
Have you ever noticed that, for instance, if I were to act like a particular race,
Mm-hmm.
I could be seen as being racist.
Wow.
Wait, no. Listen. So the thing is, if I go by and start doing all of the stereotypical things that a particular race other than my own does, I could be considered racist. However, how would, or it doesn't make a difference, but if someone does something that's stereotypical of another race, they're seen as being racist. But how would that be the case if unless you're saying the stereotype is true?
Right.
Like if I remember there was an actor who was he did brown face and he was an Indian. And it was a Short Circuit 2, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe 1. I know he was on one of them, but he was an Indian guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought he was actually Indian, right?
Right.
And I don't know if he actually ever said he was Indian, but he did have certain mannerisms, and he did darken his skin a bit,
Right.
right? So he's apologizing now and saying that he wish he hadn't done it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, like, well, how can someone say that that was racist unless they're saying that that's what they think Indian people act like?
Why do these motherfuckers decide to create all this goddamn noise when we pod? Bitch ass police. It ain't that serious.
Oh,
Damn.
yes.
Y'all ain't catching nobody.
Well, somebody's probably speeding. They jaywalked.
Fuck out of here.
No, but I'm saying, but you get what I'm saying. Like, if he wasn't doing a good job, because I don't think he ever said that he was Indian.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm sorry. Yeah, Indian. So, how would he be racist unless you're saying that he actually was so good that people thought that he was Indian? Just like any other race, unless you're actually saying, hey, look at me, I'm this race and I'm doing these things, unless those things were actually true, how would it be racist? Because obviously, if, like, a friend of mine was saying, like, we should have a movie where we would call white people the N-word. And that's just the way it was. And it's like, look, see this guy over there doing this stuff, look at him, being all, whatever. Right? And so, but anyway, regardless, but what I'm getting at is that all the stereotypes that people have about various races, there is some truth to those things.
Yes.
Because otherwise they wouldn't be able to come up. Just like people would say, if you said that you're from Chicago, they're going to go bang, bang, bang.
Right.
And the reason why? Because there's a lot of gun violence in Chicago.
That is a fact.
But you're not going to say, oh, that's cityist. No, it's true.
That's cityist.
Well, I'm saying, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's amazing how many motherfucking words they could come up with instead of having a fucking accountability.
Well, look, I'm just saying, look, if you don't like the stereotypes that black people have in the news and the media, movies, TV shows, then make your own show where people don't act like that.
Exactly. Kind of like what the Cosbys did.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah. I'm saying, like, that was refreshing because that was actually closer to what I experienced. I mean, obviously, I didn't have a doctor or a lawyer for a parent, but the culture that they had was closer to what I experienced when I was younger.
Just like me growing up, I had a mother and a father.
Yeah.
My mother was a store manager, and my dad is a government worker. He worked for the Air Force, mailman, cop, FBI. Allegedly.
I'm just saying, like,
But
there's a so not I don't remember what year this was, but the first time I ever heard the term baby mama, I didn't even understand. What? Don't you mean wife? No, baby daddy. Don't you mean husband? Like, no. I don't get it.
The first time
I just didn't understand it.
damn. The first time I heard that was early 90s.
Yeah.
And there was a fucking song that came
Yeah.
out that's Just My Baby Daddy.
Yes, exactly.
And
I didn't understand what the hell they were talking
I didn't
about.
know what the fuck they were talking about. And then I had to find out in the area I lived in. I was in the hood for a little bit. I was in the hood a lot. And unfortunately, that was a normal term. And that's when I realized, oh shit.
That's what they were talking
That's what they were talking about. And that's when people used to, like, I used to get bullied a little bit.
Because you had parents?
Because I had a dad. It was crazy to me.
You don't need to break one face. People leave you alone.
Man, listen, when I got back, listen, a lot of people didn't believe that I left for Japan until I was gone 5 years. And my sister was like, no, he's in Japan. Like, I can't help that the life that was presented to me was a life that 60% of black men don't have. And I'm part of the 40% that got lucky. And not only did I have a father, I have a great father. Do I agree with a lot of this shit he did with me growing up? Hell no, because I became an adult way before my time. And I don't think I really enjoyed my childhood, even though it was dope as fuck to be this young black kid speaking a foreign language fluently with his dad, and they're looking at you like you're the alien. No, we came here for a reason. My dad didn't keep me Americanized when I went to Japan. He kept me with the Japanese. My dad made me read a lot. My dad raised me off strict ass discipline, which is why I don't act a certain way towards certain situations. People call me passive aggressive, people call me nonchalant all the time, but that is who I am. I understand that, but it's just like I try to avoid confrontation, and I try to create a conversation. Like, I'm a man at the end of the day, before anything. And before I get into this violent stage or where I have to hurt you, think about, is there a way where I can avoid this? That's what my father taught me. And I didn't realize that growing up, that how blessed I was to have a dad. Because not everybody else is lucky, because my brother, for the most part of his life, didn't have his dad. And I knew his dad. His dad was there when I was born. Ricky didn't have his pops. And it's just like, I understand where they're coming from a little bit. Because like I said, I've had my dad my whole life. Ricky can't say that. But Ricky is a great person. Ricky has a lot more discipline than people think. One of the things that made me respect Ricky, you remember when Rush Hour 3 came out? It was this dude who initials is MJ. I'm not going to say his name, because fuck him. They went to the movie, him, Ray, and Rick went to the movie theater. And Ricky was raised, when you out in public, you carry yourself a certain way. Don't act ignorant out in public. Well, this dude took time out his busy day to be a complete asshole. Ignorant for no reason. It caused for none of this to happen. Ricky said, I will never be seen with this motherfucker again.
Yeah, I get that. I had to do that a
And
few times.
he hasn't been seen with that motherfucker since Rush Hour 3 debuted in theaters.
Man. That was
He-
a while ago.
Right. And I was like, and that's what made me respect Ricky more. Because one thing I can say about Ricky is that when Ricky says he doesn't fuck with you, he don't fuck with you. And he doesn't take sides. There's been plenty of times me and a person have been both cool with Ricky, but we were beefing with each other. And Ricky never once came back to one another saying this person said this person said that. Ricky was like, y'all resolve that.
Yeah.
This is not my problem. Y'all resolve that. I have nothing to do with this. As he should have. That's what makes me respect that nigga as much as I do.
You know, I actually kind of, I mean, I'm kind of like that too.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in high school, I would actually be friends with people who couldn't stand each other, but we were cool. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I mean,
I'm guilty of
I
that.
don't understand why you guys are fighting, but I mean, I just didn't get it.
Right.
But I mean, cool. So I mean, fine.
No.
We just couldn't hang out at the same time.
Right.
I mean, you know.
Okay, yeah, it just changes the times of which y'all hang out with each other. But at the same time, it's just like, whatever you two got going on, that's between you two.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just here to just shoot the shit with y'all because y'all cool people. Y'all have never done anything to me that make me say, fuck y'all. No. Y'all cool. We gonna hang out and we gonna have a good time, and I'm not gonna bring that other person up because I know you don't like that person, and I'm gonna do the same vice versa. And that's what Ricky has been. I've known Ricky since 2004, maybe 2003, maybe 2003, and he's never once did that. Never once. Me and Ricky has only got into an argument one time. And that was our first and last argument. I don't argue with people anymore. Well, one, because being angry is just bad for my health. It's literally...
It's bad for everybody's
It's
health.
bad for everybody's health, but it literally made me go into cardiac arrest. So, I refuse to get angry.
I mean, normally if I'm in that situation, I would ask a question of both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't give the other person a thing, but I would ask, like, why is it that you don't like that person? Because I'm actually curious, like, I don't get it. You seem cool. I don't understand why guys don't like each other, but obviously there's something that you don't like. But I'm just
Right.
curious because I don't see it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I tried to ask that question.
No, but this is for my own personal.
No, I try to ask that same question as to why they don't like each other. But me personally, me in the space that I'm in now,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear shit about my bros beefing. Mike died.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear none of that shit. I don't want to hear it. Mike is gone. Mike planted the seed for a lot of these friendships. And it would be disrespectful to a great man to argue with each other over some bullshit when he's the reason y'all even know each other. That's disrespectful to him. And I refuse to disrespect that man.
Well, it's not so much that.
Yes.
It's more along the lines of, like I said, I like information. So if you're telling me that there's something wrong, quote unquote, wrong with someone,
Mm-hmm.
is that you?
No, it's
Oh. If there's something quote unquote wrong with someone, I would like you to open my eyes so I may partake in that information, just so I'm aware. Because I'm saying if there's something actually wrong with a person that I'm, supposed to be cool with, that I don't notice, but you happen to notice it.
right.
I mean,
I would want you to tell me
Yeah.
what's wrong with that person, because if the person did some egregious shit,
right.
then I don't want to fuck with that person. Because that's just, if you do something that's morally incorrect, that goes against my morals and principles, I will cut you off the strength of what that person said, especially if they have proof that you did that shit. I will cut you off because I don't want to be around you.
I mean, especially if it's someone that I hold to a high standard.
Right.
Like, look, I mean, I don't expect you to lie. You say you don't like the person.
If
I just
Ricky
like to know.
right, like if Ricky tells me he doesn't like somebody, first of all, you had to do some dumb shit for him not to like you. You have to, because Ricky is generally a cool person. So for him not to like you, you did some dumb shit. That's red flag number 1. So when, like I said, now the space that I'm in, I don't want to hear nothing about my bros beefing or into it with each other. The best, like during Mike's funeral, one of the best things I saw was Ricky and my friend Dello hug it out. They were beefing with each other not too long ago over some bullshit. Dello jumped out the window because figure of speech. He said
Oh, God.
figure of speech. Figure of speech. When I say jump out the window, that means he said some shit that he had no business saying. So Ray had jumped out the window, and Dello responded by jumping out the window too to something Ray did, which caused the conflict, which caused Ricky not to fuck with dude. To see them hug it out and like support, that meant something. Because Mike is the reason they know each other.
Yeah.
Mike planted a lot of fucking seeds. This tree of friendship that Mike grew is a big ass tree. This is a big ass tree of friendship. So, like, to see them hug it out, that's when I told them both, I don't want to hear none of that beef shit anymore. I'm not saying go back to kumbaya, but at the same time, respect each other as men. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
Because it is not, I even hold myself to that standard. If, like, seriously, I hold myself to that standard because I can't be that way with people I call my brother. That's why I start treating people differently. Like, I wish Mike didn't have to die for me to realize this, but it took that. And it wasn't just an ordinary person. It was a great person we just lost. This death is going to sting for me as long as I'm living and breathing. This one is going to hurt. But at the same time, I realize I gotta treat people better my damn self. Because I am guilty of being the dickhead in the situation. I am guilty of being a jackass. I am guilty of being the asshole. Or the jerk, or whatever you want to call it. Non-binary. Shit. I'm guilty of being the non-binary person in this situation. I am guilty of being non-binary. God damn it. Fuck out of here. Non-binary. Pick a side, bitch.
Oh my goodness.
But yes, I am guilty of that. I am guilty of the way that I've mistreated people. Cause I told a good friend of mine when I was in a dark place, which was not too long ago, because a series of events happened, and you can't leave a broken man alone with his demons. And I have plenty of them that I try to get rid of.
Can I have one?
Shit, take them.
Okay.
But yes, I have plenty of demons that I deal with that I can't be alone with. And one of the downsides to dealing with Donnie is that I can fuck up a good thing if you let me. One of my bad traits is that I destroy relationships that shouldn't be destroyed.
Are you good at that?
I'm very good at that.
Then destroy that.
Hey. Maybe I should. But yes, I'm really good at destroying relationships. It got to the point where I was destroying a relationship that I didn't need to destroy, and they literally had to come get me and curse me out for trying to destroy their relationship. But one of the things we got to arguing over was that they don't see color. I gotta remember every day I'm black because of a situation that happened with my cousin, in which police pulled a gun out on her and she had a panic attack. Only reason I'm telling this story is because she lived to tell the story. And I'm dealing with a bunch of white people that don't fucking understand what I'm going through right now mentally, which caused a conflict between us. And here I am sitting there saying, y'all need to take these fucking blinders off. But then I realized they will never have that fucking problem. I will. I said, regardless of how I try to educate myself, regardless of how I try to carry myself, to the world, I'm still black. And to some of these ignorant ass white folks, I'm still black. You can be a Harvard graduate. You can have a 4.0 GPA. You can have an MBA. You can have your master's. You can never have a police record. You can be married, black family, black children, raise them good morals and good principles, and they will still treat you like shit off the strength that you are black, regardless of what you have done. And I had to remind myself of that and got mad at them for not understanding that. But then I can't tell motherfuckers who don't see color to see color. Because they'll never understand. They'll never go down this road. A white person can sit here and yell and curse a cop all day. And guess what? They can only go viral. A black man can be in the vicinity. He's going viral because he just died. They're going viral because they're talking shit. And I don't think they'll ever understand that shit. But hey, you're white. This is not your problem. This is mine. And I have to remind myself I'm black at the end of the day, regardless of how I carry myself, because of what happened to my cousin. Ignore the fact that she's a straight A student. Ignore the fact that she's a businesswoman at 18, getting deals, getting endorsements, doing well for herself.
Impressive.
Ignore that. She's still a black girl. And like, I have to remind myself of that. Not that I don't remember that I'm black, is that regardless of where I'm at, I have to be this way. I have to keep my head on the swivel. There's black men that's getting shot cooperating with the cops. You can do everything right and still get your black ass shot. And it's literally happened. And I'm sitting here with a bunch of white people who don't fucking understand that. So now I gotta sit here and just get mad at them. And I wanted to destroy that relationship. When in actuality, that relationship has helped me. But yes, I will fuck up a good thing if you let me. And I'm learning how to get rid of that part of myself.
Well, it's not so much that you want to get rid of it. You want to find out what it wants for you. It's positive intention. Because the thing is, it does want something for you. I could be mistaken, and you can tell me if I'm wrong or not. It most likely is for protection.
No.
Which is good.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what it is. It's how I protect me.
Right. The thing is, the behavior that you're doing for the protection is the issue, not the part. It's the behavior that happens. But the thing is, if you find out what does that part want for you, and then you find out what its positive intention is, and you go to the highest level that it has, you'll find out that it actually is a really good part of you. It just learned that, well, that's the way that it gets what it needs. But that's just not the most useful for you. And that part of you doesn't know that yet. And that's what I'm saying. That's
you're right. But like I said, no, I do destroy relationships to protect me. Even if it's like not just protect me from me. And like I understand that, but at the same time, that particular relationship that I was willing to destroy was not because they did anything wrong. It's because you're white and you don't understand. I can't change my skin color. And if I did, I look fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right. So I can't change my skin color. I wake up in the morning and I have to deal with being black first. Not the fact that I got bills, not the fact that I'm working, not the fact that I have certain ailments that I'm trying to fix, which I'm glad I know you because your exercise have helped. And I have terrible mental health that's getting better over time. And not that I have to wake up and say, I'm black. And that right there fucking sucks. I shouldn't have to wake up and deal with being black first. But unfortunately, today's society, it made it a thing. At least to me. I don't know your perspective on it yet, because I know you're going to speak on it. But at the same time, to wake up and it's like, I'm black, that's terrible. And then you can't say nothing about black people. But what black people don't understand is you need to listen more to the black people that's willing to tell them the truth about themselves. I love my black brothers and sisters enough to tell them the truth. I can't sit out here, get in front of this camera, get right here with another black man and spew some bullshit. No, that's not how I operate. That's not how the fuck I operate at all. I don't get down like that, period. If I'm going to say something about my community that I am a part of, I'm going to tell the fucking truth.
As well you should.
A lot of our wounds are self-inflicted.
Yes.
White people didn't do that shit.
I mean, for the most part.
For the most part.
Well, I'm saying, for the most part, people are going to respond in a way that is most beneficial for them. Like, all behavior is adaptive.
Mm-hmm.
So, the thing is, if, for instance, if someone is playing loud music, somebody's not going to like that music.
Right.
And the thing is, I didn't say what race it was, because it doesn't really make a difference.
Right.
If you play music that someone doesn't like, they're not going to like it.
Right.
And if you play it loud, they're not going to like it more.
That is correct.
So I don't understand why people would get angry if they're playing music that everybody can hear really loud,
Mm-hmm.
and get angry when someone asks them to turn it down. Because they like, there's a lot of times when, I mean, obviously you don't really hear someone blasting classical music, but not everybody likes classical music.
That is true.
I mean, I don't hear that so much. I don't really hear people blasting country music, but not everybody likes country music.
My friend who I work with blasts country music.
Yeah. And the thing is, not everybody likes that.
Right.
So, obviously, if you I'm just saying, if you play some music that other people don't like, why would you get surprised? I mean, I get it. You're probably going to be like, oh, well, I like this music, and other people that I know like this music, so this music is good, universally.
Why get surprised when people don't like it? Like,
and it's not even so much they might not like it.
right.
It might be that they may want to go to sleep right now. And you're playing music so loud that you may be like 3 and 4 yards over, and they can still hear it in their house that has closed windows.
Right.
I'm just saying. I mean,
yeah, no. Like I said, even in the space that I'm in now, I respect my neighbors. Shut up. Shut up. You was about to say something.
I won't say it.
No, you was about to say something. Shut up. Shut up. Anyway, the space that I'm in now, this apartment, I respect my neighbors because I don't play music too loud, and if I do play it loud, I play it in the hour where I know everybody is up.
Yeah.
Like between noon and 3 o'clock, I'm probably playing loud music. It's not going to be extremely loud, but between those hours, I'm playing non-loud music. 4 on down, I don't play it. Now, the only time I play music late is on the weekends because normally they're partying. Normally they have family over. Normally I have a neighbor who plays a guitar right down the hall. I have another neighbor across the hall who plays loud music. I don't complain about that. Have fun. Have fun. It's the weekend. We work all week.
Yeah.
It's a day off. Let's enjoy that shit. If you want to get drunk, go ahead. My neighbor plays his guitar. He plays some nice little notes. And he may later go blow his girl back out later. Listen. Nothing wrong with that. Play your guitar and play with some pussy. String your guitar and string some pussy.
Right.
For real. Like, seriously, I can't sit here and be the non-binary person in this
Son of a
situation.
bitch.
For real, I'm guilty of being non-binary.
Pluck the guitar and pluck some. Oh, what were you saying?
Right. When you're non-binary, what are you plucking? What are you plucking when you're non-binary?
Well,
How do you pluck something that's non-binary?
well,
Is it a vagina?
okay, so
Is it a meat sandwich?
look.
Does it look like
Oh my god.
bologna?
Cut out. So, as it is, I don't, as far as I know, I don't know anyone who's non-binary. Wait. I think I know 2 people. But I haven't seen very much about them. I mean, I don't know them personally. Well, I've met them personally, but we're not really that close.
Mm-hmm.
But they show up on Facebook every once in a while. And they're cool people. But I think 2 of my, at minimum that I'm aware of, 2 of my friends on Facebook are non-binary.
Right.
That's fine. You know, and I don't know enough about non-binary sexuality to even comment on that. Anything that I would say would sound like I was probably making fun of them. And I'm saying, oh my gosh. So I'm just saying I don't have enough information about it. So I don't know. I mean, ideally, I would think, and again, I have no idea. So if I'm wrong, leave it in the comments or whatever.
I don't care.
Yeah. Like I would think that non-binary means that I don't know what a non-binary person will be attracted to, but anyone could be attracted to a non-binary person. Ideally, I would think.
Non-binary sound like a scientific term for being bisexual.
No, actually, it would be it may be the opposite. It would be more, maybe not exactly, but it would be more like
Non-binary
not having
or gender queer is a spectrum of gender identities that are not exclusively masculine or feminine identities that are outside their gender binary. Non-binary identities can fall under the transgender umbrella, since many non-binary people identify with the gender that is different from their assigned sex.
Well, I mean, if you're non-binary, you would be identifying with a sex that wasn't the one that you had, because ideally...
I don't think they understand that part.
Well, no. Like okay, so if you... I don't know. Somehow it doesn't... It doesn't seem as though it would fit in transgender. I mean, I guess kind of it does, but you would... Ideally, you would think that it would go from male to female or female to male, but if it's non-binary, it's neither. So you're actually just kind of shifting, like if you're male or female, you'd shift and you just don't keep shifting. So I guess maybe that would work.
No.
Well, no, I'm saying like if you have
either
female on one side
Caitlyn,
and male on one side, and you go right there, but you don't go all the way to the other end. You're like right in the middle.
Fuck off.
But not even in the middle, because like ideally, depending on the situation, you might not have any of the, or maybe. Don't
First
know.
of all,
Let me know.
First of all, you either Caitlyn or Bruce, not Caitlyn and Bruce. What the fuck? What the fuck are that reminds me of what Tommy Lawrence said when she says I'm a millennial but I don't like labels.
Well, I get that. I mean, because the thing is, whether she wants to be. See, the thing is, this is the thing. She doesn't like
millennial.
No, right? No, I got it.
Didn't you just give?
No. That's not the thing. She's saying that this is what people call her, but she doesn't like labels. That makes perfect sense, because it's like if for instance,
okay,
if I were to say I'm black but I don't like labels, she may not consider herself to be a millennial. I guess I am black. I mean, I don't have much of a choice on that matter. But she may not consider herself to be a millennial because she doesn't really care about that type of thing. But this is what people tend to call me. I'm assuming that's what she meant. Because she's not a total idiot.
She isn't. There's two sides to Tommy Lawrence.
The thing is, I'm not saying that she's a super genius, although she might be. She might be immense. I have no idea.
Right.
However, she's not stupid. She may say things that may seem as though they're stupid. But the thing is, I think she might actually be doing that more for ratings than to get information out.
That's why I say there's two sides to Tommy Lawrence. Because there's crossing the line, logical Tommy Lawrence, where she actually says shit that's like, you can't dispute what she's saying because it's a fact. Mm-hmm. And then there's proud to be in a...
Well, the thing is, you can't dispute it because it makes you feel bad.
But your dispute is like, come on now. Why would you dispute this? But there are people out there that really do that, so you are correct. And then there's proud to be an American, Tommy Lawrence.
Which does a lot of stupid stuff.
Right. There's two sides to her. Mm-hmm. And it's just the side that we see a lot.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't know which one is the real version.
You don't know which one's the real version.
So...
And then on top of that, she's from Texas.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't get that much of an accent from her.
Well, that's because she's in LA now. But there's two sides to Tommy Lawrence. There's that side where you like, okay, Tommy, now this nigga's spitting. And then there's proud to be an American, Tommy Lawrence.
This dumbass.
This bitch. Oh, jeez.
Oh my goodness.
That's
Come on. I was rooting for you at first. And you're going to go ahead and say that? Come on. Get out of here.
Like, that's proud to be an American. Tommy Lawrence is the person who shoots from the hip, thinking she got a headshot and she just shot a squirrel.
Hey, squirrel's some good eating.
Right. Like, why would you shoot Slappy? For those of you that don't get that Slappy the Squirrel reference, you're too young. But...
The crankiest creatures in the whole wide world.
Right.
I just cartoon feature Slappy the Squirrel.
Right.
That's my aunt Slappy.
Right. So
anyway,
Slappy reminded me a lot like black grandmothers. But we're not going to get into that. But like she shoots from the hip and she hits a squirrel.
Mm-hmm.
Like why why did you shoot the shit out of Slappy? She didn't deserve that. Damn, Slappy, you just got hit. That's Tommy Lauren when she's proud to be an American, which is the same thing that Donald Trump problem he had. It's two sides to Donald Trump.
Well, I think that was more because he removed his filter.
Yes, and when he removed this filter,
Because the thing is, he has a filter.
he does.
Otherwise, people would have known that he acted like that a long time ago.
That's who he was for a long time. But people didn't notice that like until he became president. Like, and for those who's followed his career, like you didn't know that he was this person. He's always been this person. This is nothing new to us. We're used to this. If you actually pay attention. But they didn't. And now when they see the proud to be an American version of him, they call him a racist. No. He was talking about a specific group. Now, unless you fit that group.
Remember what I was saying earlier?
Right.
Like, how are you going to call it racist if someone does something that's stereotypical of a particular race unless that was actually true? You can't have it both ways. You can't say the stereotype is wrong and say that they're making fun of this particular race when they do it.
Right. You can't say the stereotype is wrong and then acknowledge it.
Yeah, I don't really get that. Because like whenever someone says, "Oh, these black people do this," and it's like, I don't do that, so he must not be talking about it.
Right.
Or yeah, these black people do this. Like, wait, I don't do that. He must not be talking about me.
Right. Like when they say, just like the way that I speak. Now, granted, I say a lot of ignorant shit at times. I'm guilty of that. Sometimes you just gotta be non-binary. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes.
Look, I get it. I get it. Macho isn't here. You have to add in some ignorance. I understand. But come on, man.
No, fuck.
Come on.
I'm being real non-binary today.
Oh, good lord.
Anyway.
Yeah, you know, there's a good chance that we are going to be canceled right after this. So we are looking for sponsorship.
Hey,
if
bro, come on now, dog.
you
Come
would
on,
like
man.
to sponsor us, all you'd have to do is send this guy right here, Dontavius, send him an email, call him, leave a comment
We
under
actually
this.
have an email now.
Oh, okay.
And it is as followed.
As followed at gmail.com.
No. Is the Judgment Pod 444 at gmail.com.
Wait, there were 443 of them before it?
Yes.
That
So the Judgment Pod 444 at gmail.com. All lowercase.
It doesn't make a difference if it's uppercase.
Yeah, I
It'll
know,
still go through.
but when you being non-binary, you
Shut
got
the hell up! Shoot! Get out of here! Although, as it is, you should probably use case caps.
Mm-hmm.
Like the capital, judgment, capital, pod, capital, the P, you know.
Oh, right.
Like, I mean, it's easier to read.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah. But yes, the Judgment Pod 444 at gmail.com. If you want to sponsor us or if you want to have show ideas, like I'm willing to like talk to people and get their stories. My apartment is available for people to come by, have a conversation. Don't do no dumb shit because I will shoot the shit out of you. Yeah, just come by, call in or whatever. I'm gonna get a number for a fucking hotline or whatever the fuck you want to call it, so we can take calls and talk to people because like sometimes we don't have a fucking subject, and I'm in a better space mentally as to where I'm willing to have a conversation with people. even people that doesn't necessarily agree with what the fuck I'm saying. And I don't want you to agree with everything I'm saying, especially right now while I'm being non-binary. So, I really want people to have this conversation. I'm fucking this word up all podcasts because it's the dumbest shit I could ever hear white people come up with. And yes, this is a white people thing. Black people too busy getting shot. Chinese ain't shit because of the coronavirus. Arabs still getting grief for 9/11. And who else? Jews are still Jews.
What? Okay.
That was racist as fuck.
Well, no.
No, it
that-
wasn't.
No, that would be A equals A. That's literally the truth. Jews are still Jews. Well, I mean, Jewish people are still Jewish people.
Right. Jewish people
maybe
are
that
still Jewish people.
Okay, maybe that was slightly racist.
Slightly.
No, it was slightly anti-Semitic.
How is it anti-Semitic?
Well, because Jews, if you don't like Jews, it's anti-Semitic. But when you said Jews as opposed to Jewish,
Oh.
I mean, I think that's honestly, I don't know. I
I've
heard people.
I don't know what the fuck half these words mean.
I mean, I've heard people who are Jewish say that they were a Jew, as opposed to saying they were Jewish. So I don't know if
I
that's
see it as a shortened word.
right. So I mean, I don't know.
It's just a shortened word for Jewish or white. What the fuck? It's just like, for instance, it was this football player who got in trouble with Jewish people for saying some shit. And
Can you say what he said, or
Huh?
was it that bad, or?
It really wasn't that bad, but this one guy named Julian Edelman, he played for the Patriots. How ironic. Who's Jewish. I said that he's willing to take him to a Jewish museum to teach him about Jewish people.
Okay.
And I saw that as offensive.
Wait, why?
Because
Wait. Okay, could you repeat that? No, seriously, could you repeat what you just said? Maybe I missed something.
Oh, you know what? I used the wrong word. It didn't offend me, but it bothered me a little bit.
Why?
Because I understand you learning about Jewish people,
Okay.
but in that museum is a fucking lie. Hear me out. Why, as a black man, I have to learn about you, but when you say and do some of the fly shit that you do as a Jewish man, why don't you learn about me? Why aren't you willing to learn about black people? But at the same time, you're part of the reason why we are affected the way we were, because you funded the slave trade. That's not in your Jewish museum.
No.
Jewish and African people
Wait,
funded the
hold on,
slave trade.
Hold on. There were a specific group.
Yes,
Jewish
very
people,
specific
and a
group.
very specific group
Yes, that
of
is
black
true.
people that did.
I didn't
Or
say
African.
all of them, but
Well, yeah, but
I knew it was a
but look,
specific
but
group.
Look, the thing is, and I've said this before,
Uh-huh.
whenever you use plural language, whether you mean to talk about the entire group or not, it sounds as though you are, unless you specify that you're not.
Okay, well, I was going to get to that.
Okay.
But I do mean a specific group of Jewish people and a specific group of African people funded the slave trade.
Yeah.
I knew good and goddamn well it wasn't all of them. It was just a specific group. So I do know that. But they don't have that in their museums. That's not there.
Well, in most museums, they tend not to show the bad parts of their history.
Yeah.
The history is written by the winners.
Exactly, and that's the problem. That's a problem.
Well, that's the
Because
nature of the
without
beast.
loss, we wouldn't have history.
I suppose the losers could make their own history, but they would get killed.
But loss is a part of history.
Yeah.
The Confederate flag wouldn't be the Confederate flag without that loss.
Yeah. Well, no. It would still be the Confederate
It would still
flag.
be the Confederate
You
flag,
just
but
would've,
that
actually, I don't know how that would even work.
that
If-
loss,
If the Confederacy had won, they would have to change the flag because they
Yes.
have more states.
right? That loss
I mean-
meant something. You see what I'm saying? That loss impacted history.
Mhm.
There are certain facets of life where a loss impacted history.
Mhm.
So why not speak about it?
Well, because they don't want that part remembered. Like, okay, look, like what you were saying before.
Well, technically, it's the same thing that I say for Jewish and black people. Why do we continue to talk about slavery and the Holocaust? That's a loss.
Yeah.
That's a loss.
So-
Why do we
so-
have to constantly remember?
So two
that?
things. One, I'm not going to hold anyone else accountable for not wanting to learn things. I can only hold myself accountable for learning things.
Correct.
So I personally like to learn as many things as I possibly can about as many subjects as I possibly can, so I
Yes.
can figure out how they all fit together.
Mhm.
That's me.
Yeah.
As far as talking about the slaves, the slaves that we had, look, that is part of our history. I don't think that should be on the forefront of everything that we do, because if we're constantly thinking about that, that's the only thing that we're thinking about. That's the only thing that we're going to think about, and everything that comes along with that. As far as like, do you understand what my because like as far as I know, my great grandfather, I don't know if he was a slave, but he was a sharecropper.
Mm-hmm.
So he may have been a slave.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather worked with him,
Mm-hmm.
and at around age 13, he left because my great grandfather was taking advantage of him. Like he was like if he was working, he would take all of his money and give him a smaller amount of it. So he ran away because like if I'm going to work, I should get all the money.
Right.
So at some point he came to Chicago. I think he came to Chicago first. But at some point he met my grandmother, and he said that after about a week of knowing her, I'm going to marry you. And obviously they got married because I'm here,
Right.
whatever. But the thing is like no one who writes their own history, unless they're an extremely enlightened person, extremely enlightened, and most people aren't extremely enlightened,
Right.
are not going to show the bad parts of themselves. I mean,
I see the bad parts of being black or being Jewish or being Mexican or being whatever you are. I see the bad as a learning experience.
Well, see, so for me, I know that there are a lot of things about myself that are not necessarily the best. I do my best to better myself in as many possible ways as I can,
Right.
so that I can improve upon it. So by the time you find out about the negative things that I had done, it's not part of me any longer. I mean, I do that for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, there are certain things that are harder to improve about myself than others,
Right.
And again, I do myself to improve myself as often as I possibly can, because like I want to be the very best version of myself. I mean, yeah, I just want to be the very best version of myself. And one thing I have noticed is that if you focus on the good parts of yourself, you actually amplify them. And if you focus on the not so good parts of yourself, you amplify those too. So I do my best to focus on the good parts, and hopefully, and also I do focus on the negative parts, but only enough to know that they're there so that I can improve upon the parts that aren't so good, so I can make them better. But that's me though. I can't speak for everybody else. Not everybody else likes to make themselves a better person.
Yeah. No, I get exactly what you're doing, because like a lot of my life I worked hard to try not to be the typical black guy. I worked hard at not trying to be that guy. It's affected me in my personal relationships. Like there are three women that I'm like currently highly interested in. Two of them are white, one is Mexican. Now, it's easier for me to talk to the Mexican chick because we're both coming from a minority area. We grew up a lot, and we had a lot of our paths have crossed.
Okay.
She's done things, and I've done things that like affected our lives differently.
Okay.
And with the two white women, one of them told a friend that she thought I was the typical black guy.
Okay.
And when she realized I wasn't, it's taking her a while to get adjusted to that.
Okay.
But I worked so hard not to be that guy.
No. You misunderstand.
Uh-huh.
So, unless someone knows who you are
Mm-hmm.
and they've experienced you,
Mm-hmm.
they can only go off of how you look. If you don't say anything and they just see you from a distance, you are the typical black guy. Because guess what? You are a black guy. And as far as anyone knows, the thing is you don't project. No one projects their personality unless they're talking to the person interacting with them.
Right.
So you can't really fault her for that.
I don't.
Now, I'm just saying.
I know.
Now, if after she got to know you, if she said, you know what, I don't like you because you're black, that's something totally different. You know what I'm saying.
Right.
But, for the most part, if you see someone who is beautiful, you don't know what their personality is. If you see someone who's ugly, quote unquote, you don't know what their personality is. If you see someone who looks like someone that you knew and you either liked or hated them, you most likely are going to go off of that based off of how they look.
Right.
But once you get to know them, it's like, you know what, when I first met you, I couldn't stand you. But after getting to know you, I still can't stand you. But, you're kind of cool. I don't know, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? It's like...
that's what happens when you're non-binary.
You mother... Look. No, but seriously. This is just one thing people don't get. Depending on how you meet someone will determine how you respond to them.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you just see them,
Mm-hmm.
you're only going to get whatever they look like.
Correct.
Once you get to know them, it's like, oh, I really don't like your personality. If you're absolutely lovely, but I don't like your personality. I can't do this. It might be vice versa. You may meet someone who looks hideous, but you still want to hang around them because they're awesome. So, but the thing is, it's like you look. You have to get to know someone before you say, oh no, I don't like this person because of X. Right. You have to kind of get to know them first, because if you don't do that, I don't know, you're just being judgmental. I don't know what you call it, but I don't know. What is that?
I have no fucking idea. My phone tweaking like a motherfucker. That was my phone.
What?
I have no fucking idea. It was sitting face down, and all of a sudden,
What happened?
It went to a fucking live video.
Oh.
Yeah, it went to a live damn video. I guess someone was having fun or some shit. I don't know.
Well, hey, I'm kind of interested now. What the hell is that? No, I'm serious. No, what I'm saying, that's just the way it's set up. Regardless of how you look at it, when you first see someone, you do get a first impression. Now, if you interact with the person, they may be able to shift it or change it. It's like, oh wait, when I first met you, I thought you were this way, but you're this way, so we're good.
Right. For instance, the situation where the relationship I was willing to destroy, we get to arguing, and I was the only person that had to apologize because they felt I talked to that person wrong. Now, if I show you the text message, I never once disrespected this person. I never once said anything foul about her character.
Well,
Hear me out. Hear me out. I never say anything foul about her character. I never disrespected her. Nothing disrespectful was said. But part of me has a problem when I'm the only one that had to apologize. When y'all looking at me crazy for reacting the way that I did to a situation you will never fucking understand. You're fucking white. You can't tell me how to fucking react to a situation when you don't even go through it. How the fuck should I apologize for that? But I apologize because one, I really do love that person, and I really do respect that person. But I never disrespected that person, never cursed, never said anything foul towards that person or that person's character. I was simply mad because you don't understand where the fuck I'm coming from right now.
well, think about it like this.
That still bothers me.
Yeah. Think about it like this. Because you're in the situation, and that situation causes you to have like extra emotion in relationship to it. It actually does make sense for her to say how you should react in the situation, because she's able to look at it in a more calm manner, in a way that most likely would have gotten you through the situation a bit safer, because she didn't have any emotion in the situation other than the way that she felt about you. I mean, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot easier to like essentially like that's one of the reasons why people need coaches. The coach is able to help the person from the outside of the situation, to help the person in the situation get what they want out of it. So even though she may not understand, but to a certain extent, that's actually a strength for you, that she doesn't understand exactly, because there's certain things that she's going to be able to come up with, certain ideas that you wouldn't even think of because you're too close to the situation.
Right.
And I'm not saying you're right or she's right. I'm just giving another perspective of it.
No. It's not about who's right and who's wrong. That was never the issue with me.
Okay.
The issue was, why did I have to apologize for you not understanding? I shouldn't have to apologize for that. I still felt like I should not have apologized.
Well.
But at the same time, I did it out of respect for the people that I was around. Yes, they picked me up off the ground when I lost my best friend. Yes, they were there. I will not take that away from them. But you have to understand something. I still have to wake up black. You don't. Anything else I took issue with is basically what I explained to her. I said everything else we were talking about didn't matter to me. It was just this one situation. This particular situation in which it affected my 18-year-old cousin, who I look at as a little sister because I watched her grow up. And to see that happen, or to even hear about it, like, and this is after I found out my grandmother had a heart attack. So I find this news out back to back. Like, literally, my grandmother has a heart attack, I lose another friend, and that happens. All in the span of 12 hours. Now, granted, my grandmother's fine.
That's good.
She's doing great.
That's awesome.
That person who passed, God bless him. And my cousin is actually alive to tell her story.
That's wonderful.
So, yes, the outcome is great. But what happened is what pissed me off. because I forgot who I was for a moment. Because I got so used to this suburban living, middle class living, and then I got to remind myself every day, Donnie, you are still black. Regardless of status, whether you're rich, poor, or middle class, you are still a black man. And to explain that to them who quote unquote don't see color, even though female that I like barked at me, told me to never talk to her friend like that. I forgot what she said. But I don't take threats kindly.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't take threats very kindly. You gotta understand something. You don't, as a black man, once again, a threat to a black man means something. You don't do that. Don't ever fucking do that. I understand you defending your friend. Don't fucking threaten me. I'm grown. I'm still a black man at the end of the day. You wake up and you do what you have to do with no issue. The most you have to deal with is probably manager shit, crazy driver, stupid spouse, baby. Me? I have to wake up. Damn. What can I do to avoid bullshit today? If I see cops, please don't pull me over. If I'm at a gas station, I hope these motherfuckers don't think I'm gonna rob them.
Again, as I said, whatever you focus on is what you tend to get the most of. So instead of saying it like that, you may want to focus on what you want to happen.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I know it says, oh, well, it doesn't make a difference because it's not going to change things. Well, that's not entirely true. If I were to ask you to look around the room that you're in, I'm talking to the people who are listening to.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to ask you to focus on everything that's green in the room, just look around. Look for everything that's green. Look at everything that's green. Focus on all the green things in the room. Look at every single thing that's green in the room. Just focus on every single one of them. Count, do whatever you have to do. Right. And then close your eyes. And then tell me all the red things. Most people would not be able to do that. Right. But you want to know why? Because you were focusing on one thing and you ignored everything else. So when you focus on saying, oh man, what do I have to do to not have them think they're robbing me? You're probably going to start acting a certain way, which is probably going to make them think that you're going to rob them.
Right.
So ideally, I mean, look, I'm not saying that you shouldn't want to make other people comfortable. Now that would probably be better. Like, what can I do to make these people comfortable? That would be a totally different thing. And the thing is, if you don't want to make them comfortable, screw them. But I'm saying, if you want to make them comfortable, I mean, you get what I'm saying. I mean, it's not necessarily the exact opposite thing, but it would be whatever you would actually want to have happen. You focus on that, and you'll tend to get more of it. I mean, that's the nature of the way the mind works.
Mm.
Like there's a bunch of people who go to jail,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll leave jail, and within a couple of months to a couple of years, they wind up being in jail again. And a lot of times, they're going about their life doing whatever they're doing, and they're constantly saying to themselves, I don't want to go back to jail. I don't want to go back to jail. I don't want to go back to jail. In order for them to even make sense of what they're saying,
Mm-hmm.
they hear go back to jail. As opposed to saying, you know what? I want to be free. I want to have a really good life, being free, having, fun with my friends, so on and so forth. But they're focusing on jail by saying they don't want to go back.
No, I get what you're saying. But with me, yes, I do have those thoughts. But I program myself to do the complete opposite of what I'm thinking. That's why, like, when I say I walk into a store, and I don't want these niggas to think I'm a problem. I walk in with a smile on my face.
Right. And remember what I said, don't think of a blue tree?
Yes.
How big was the blue tree that you thought of?
Shit, I don't know.
But what I'm getting at is that if you say, I want to think of a red tree, you don't have to cancel it out. I mean, you get what I'm saying? Like, if you focus exactly what you want, you'll tend to get more of that. At best, right now, you're actually reducing the amount of energy that you have because you're focusing on what you don't want in order to focus on what you do want, as opposed to just focusing directly on what you do want and get more of that. Like, if, basically, when you say, I say, I hope they don't think I'm going to rob them, and then you put a smile on your face, you could say, I should probably put a smile on my face, and just focus directly on that, because that it's unambiguous. You know, you're doing exactly what you're thinking, and you're actually a lot more focused, and you're doing. Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Right. I get what you're saying.
You don't have to have your mind think. Wait a second, rob them, smile, rob them while smiling.
No, because like I've just been in those situations before. Where like I'm just here to grab what I need to get and get the fuck out of here, and I gotta have people fucking following me, and I'm like, and then I realize because my community shoots themselves in the fucking foot so much, it affects the people that doesn't necessarily have the desire to do any of this shit.
Yep, pretty much. Like if you are wearing, well, okay. And I'm pretty sure right now police officers are dealing with that right now.
That is true.
Because there are actually a majority of police officers actually do care about not only following the rules, but making sure that people are safe and doing everything they can to make sure that, well, that people are safe, that, you know, laws aren't broken, so on and so forth.
Correct.
And there's a small percentage of people, police officers, who are going around shooting people. Now the thing is, it's probably not they're just going out and, you know, I'm going to shoot somebody today. There may be some people like that, but that's even a smaller percentage, I'm thinking.
Right.
But there's going to be a certain percentage of people who are going to say, you know what, I want to do a good job. And, like I said before, part of the training that a lot of police officers go through, they're pretty much told when you go for a traffic stop, they're going to try to kill you. I mean, it may not be exactly that way, but like, look, expect that they're going to try to kill you, so you need to have your wits about you, and if necessary, you do everything that you can to stay safe. And the thing is, I agree with that. If I was a police officer, I probably, well, look, I'm going to stay safe. If I think you're going to try to take me out, if they're telling me that you're going to try to take me out, I'm most likely going to take you out first. And if that's part of the training,
Right.
you can't fault the police officers for that, because look, survival is the main. Well,
Listen, I understand what you're saying, and I agree. Because my father was a cop. He had to deal with that type of shit. So I understand. The reason I somewhat disagree is that they also need to train them on what happens when it all goes right.
no, yeah. No, but the thing is, remember what I said before? Well,
Yeah.
I think it was off camera.
Yeah, this is probably off camera.
I said that it's a lot easier to basically, it's a lot easier to dislike something than it is to like something. It's almost twice, it takes twice as many steps to like something that you dislike as opposed to dislike something that you like. Like it's like twice as many steps to do that. And to do it effectively and have it so that if there's something that you don't like, you like it now. It takes 4 steps.
Right.
But if you want to dislike something, it only takes 2. And some people are probably going to ask. You can look it up if you choose to. I don't care. I'm not talking about. Look, what I'm getting at is that I get that, but the thing is, it's a lot easier because as far as safety goes for the police officer, and I'm not saying I agree with them. I'm just saying this is the way it's set up.
Right.
It's a lot easier to teach them for safety that they're going to try to kill you, so do everything you can to be safe. Because if everything goes right, they don't have to worry if the person's going to try to take them out because everything went right. So they really don't have to train for that. They hope that the person, essentially, that would be one of the things that if they went through, that they would be able to say, oh, well, it's like, oh, hey, have a nice day, talk to you later, type of thing. But if someone's going to get all feisty, whatever, then yeah, do what you got to do to survive. At the same time, both sides, the civilians and the police officers, need to understand that there's certain things that you could do to de-escalate.
And that's some of the problem I have on the police officer side.
It's on both sides, man.
No, I understand it's on both sides. I 100%
Although at the same
agree.
time, the police officers have guns.
And you don't.
And yeah, so
it's all reaction.
But and also at the same time, if you, like I said, why would you punch a bear in the nose and then get angry at the bear for, attacking you? Like, if you don't have a gun and you know that they do, why would you start getting angry? When you get angry, that agitates them.
Yes.
Not you specifically.
No. I get what you're saying,
who,
but at the same time, there are cops out there that take a situation
Yes.
where it shouldn't be dangerous and make it that.
Yes.
Because why, during a normal traffic stop, you know why you're stopping them, you understand why you're stopping them. Why is your hands on your gun out the gate?
Pretty
Because in my mind, I'm in a panic.
Yeah. And the thing is, that should be at least one of the things that they talk about with the police officers. Like, look, when you put your hand on your gun and they see that, they will get agitated.
It's gonna
you should know that if they put their hand on a gun, you're going to get agitated.
Right.
So, you should get that if you put someone in a situation where they could be, fearful for their lives, since apparently that's the favorite thing for a lot of the police officers to say.
Right.
Then you should know that when you put them in the same type of situation, that they're going to do it. Well, look, you get it. I'm talking about it. I don't even have to finish the whole thing. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Like, if you're stopping somebody for a broken tail light, why the fuck your hands on the gun?
Yeah.
Like, it's a difference between stopping somebody for a broken tail light and stopping somebody because there's a warrant for their arrest. And it's for like a violent crime or something. Then I understand.
For the most part, if you're in a job where, the thing is, ideally, what they would say is, if even during a traffic stop, you have to be aware the person just essentially imagine that they're going to try to kill you, so act accordingly. The only thing about that, though, is that if you constantly think about that, I know how I would react if I thought that everywhere I went, someone was trying to kill me. At the very minimum, I would probably try to take them out first.
Right.
And it wouldn't take very much for them to move, to shift, and that would cause that. At the same time, police officers should know that civilians are human, and they should also know that when they do things that agitate them, they will get agitated. Like when you put your hand on your pistol, you're going to freak them out. Like, really? And anything that they do is because you put your hand on your pistol. Now, the thing is, the reason why they put their hand on their pistol is because they're told that they may kill you. So I get that.
No,
but it doesn't necessarily make it better.
But here's the thing. That training would work if they didn't single out race in between all of that.
Yeah.
Because
apparently,
statistics show they are more aggressive with black people than they are with whites.
Well, the thing is, if that's the case, and I think that actually is the case, then the reason why black people are getting killed at the rate at which they are, which isn't necessarily, it's not more than white people, which a lot of people are trying to say. And that's not necessarily better. I'm just saying that that's not the case. What I am saying, though, is that the police officers are literally causing the black people to get killed. And I'm not talking about from the gun. I'm talking about from the agitation. It's a cycle. The black people are getting freaked out that a police officer, Oh, better yet, the police officers getting freaked out because they have a stereotype in their mind of the way that the average, no, not even average, the stereotypical black person acts. And then because they know how they might act, they put their hand on their gun or any other thing that a police officer might do. They may ask some of those stupid questions like, you know how fast you were going? And like, you know how fast I was going. That's why you stopped me.
Right.
I mean, whatever. But, you know, you ask those silly questions like, whatever, you know. And then they cause them to get agitated. And it's like, why are you agitated? Well, because you have your hand on your gun and you're probably going to kill me for something. I mean, whatever.
Right.
So, I mean, the thing is, being a common sense person, and most police officers, ideally, not necessarily, but ideally, I mean, okay, look, in order to become a police officer, you can't be too smart, which doesn't necessarily mean that you're stupid. But listen.
Like you just said.
But you can't be too smart because if your IQ's too high, they won't hire you. And they say that's because that if you work there, you won't be satisfied with the things you do. But if you like that type of thing, you're probably going to do it. But I mean, whatever. But there is a certain type of logic that some police officers may not have access to if they're going to say that if you have a certain level of IQ that they won't accept you. Mm-hmm. So if that's the case, there's a certain level of IQ and below where you would be accepted. So ideally, I mean, to a certain extent, they're saying that police officers are pretty much of average, if not slightly, and not even majorly slightly, just slightly above average intelligence. Mm-hmm. So they're at least minimum average intelligence. They should be able to figure out that when they do things to freak the person out, it's not that they're freaked out. In the heck, I mean, look, when I used to work at the library, I was walking to work. Like I walk to work all the time. Like whenever I see a police officer, it's like, hey, I'm like, how's it going? Hey, you know, whatever. But I was walking to work one day, and okay, I was wearing a weighted vest, leg weights, arm weights, green pants, and a hoodie. But I had the hood down. Mm-hmm. And so I was picked up by the police. It's like, what the hell? They say, where are you going? To work? What the hell? I think I had my backpack, whatever. Mm-hmm. And they put handcuffs on me. It's like, what the hell is going on? And so they take me over to some place where there was a car lot or something. I don't remember exactly. And it may have been I don't remember exactly what it was. But they said, is this the guy? It's like, no. It's like, okay, you can go. So you made me late. You could at least, and the thing is, the police station is literally next door to the library. They could have at least taken me to the police station so I can get to the library on time. So I was late for work. And since then, I've been freaked out whenever there was a police officer. Now I've done some work on myself and I'm a lot calmer. Mm-hmm. But what sense would it make? I'm wearing a 30-pound weighted vest. I have five pounds on my wrists and probably about 5 to 10 pounds on each leg. What sense would it make for me to steal something wearing all of that? And if I was able to do whatever they thought I was able to do in all of that, there's no way that those police officers would have been able to take me. I mean, think about that.
Right.
That made no sense. Now, luckily, it just so happened that I wasn't the guy, because I wasn't me. But it wouldn't have even made any sense. Like, what's all this stuff? Weighted clothing. I'm using this so I can get exercise. Like, that alone should have made them understand. It's like, wait a second, that doesn't even make any sense. There's no way that he'd be able to, like, if I was going to do that type of thing, I wouldn't have had any of that stuff on.
Right.
And they would have never caught me.
Right.
But regardless of that, sometimes people just don't think about certain things like that. I mean, that would be like me entering a race, and I want to finish first, but I put on an extra 50, 60 pounds on my back, and I push myself. No, that's not when you do that. You do that during training, and you take it off, and you run free.
Right.
But I guess it made sense because I had green pants on. That's the only thing they were able to figure out, that the other guy had green pants on. It's like, okay, fair enough. But still, that freaked me out because I literally didn't do anything. I was going to work at the library. Oh my goodness.
I used to work at this bar in downtown LaGrange. I ain't gonna mention them because I like some of the people, but I don't like some of the people. But fuck them. Anyway, I used to work at this bar in downtown LaGrange, where downtown LaGrange is absolute trash. There's nothing downtown about it. But it's called that. So
it's downtown for LaGrange.
For LaGrange. So now, granted, this bar has some good food. Expensive as shit, but it's really good food. So I go there and I'm the dishwasher. And normally, as the dishwasher, I'm normally there last because I have to clean up all the dishes, and I have to make sure my area is sanitized and clean, and the machine is clean. And then there are customers that's there to 2, 3 in the morning, in which I have to wait on their shit, and plus the shit that I already got to wash. So I'm normally getting out of work around 3, maybe 4 in the morning, and I wait on my Uber, and this has been frequent at the time. So I get a month in, and next thing you know it, I notice that every time I go outside to like wait on my ride, I see the police. I said, okay, all right. So as time went on, every day I would see the cops just drive around. I didn't see them the first month I was there. I mean, first few weeks I was there. After about a month, they started showing up. Every day. Every day I was out. Every day I was working, they were there. So one day, I go outside, say bye-bye, say peace to the coworker, the other bartender who's there, because me and him are the last people that's there, because he has to do the count, I have to do the cleaning. And I want to make sure we both get out at a reasonable time. So they go out there. I say, what's up? Next thing you know, whoop. Excuse me, sir, what are you doing here? I work here. We got a call saying that you were scoping the place out.
Well, that person is probably an asshole, but okay, what's your point?
And I'm like, I work here. I can show you my time sheet. This is why I always kept my time sheet on me. Especially when I work late at night. This is why I hate working nights now. Because of that situation. They did that shit to me for 4 straight days. The same shit. It took one black cop that looked at me and realized, wait, I used to go to school with you. That's when they left me alone. But every day I was out there, it was a fucking punk ass idiot calling the police on me. Every time they saw me sitting outside of the bar when I simply just worked there. And I worked in the middle of the day where everybody could see me. So I know that person who called the police saw me walk in that building and walk out 10 hours later. You think I'm in a bar for 10 hours for no fucking reason? I'm working.
You know, at some point I probably would have called the police and said, there's someone who keeps calling the police on me, and I don't know who they are, but I'm pretty sure that they're a Nazi. And I don't like Nazis. And I'm not sure who this person is, but they've been calling for the last 4 nights. And I'm pretty sure I saw a swastika or something. I don't know who this person is. I've never seen them before. but they're calling the police on me because I'm literally black. So I'm not sure if you can do anything about this, but I just don't appreciate that. And I don't know who I'm going to sue, but I mean, you do know that would technically be them causing you to harass me. So I guess I would have to, get your badge numbers and and get your superiors into this. I mean, I'm not sure what I have to do. I mean, do you know what I could do? Like, do you know if I should get a lawyer or something? Or I'm not sure. I mean, do you know what I should do about that? Because I mean, this is getting ridiculous. Really, I've been working here for this period of time. I work here for the entire time. As soon as I leave to wait for my Uber, someone calls the police on me. And I'm not sure exactly what I have to do about this, but it just keeps happening over and over and over. I mean, if you need me to, I can call tomorrow and the day after that,
Right.
and the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that. I mean, if I could keep this up, but I just need to know what I have to do, because I will make sure that you know exactly who I am, you know exactly where I work, you know that it's me coming out, so you'll know the next time someone comes by that obviously I work here. I mean, I would have done that. And I have no idea what it would have done.
And the crazy
But
part
guess
is,
what? I would have done it.
I walked out in a uniform that matches the logo of the fucking shit. I'm in a fucking chef's apron. Are you fucking kidding me?
Ideally, though, the only thing that you really should have said to the police was, am I being detained or am I free to go? That's it. That's the only thing you should ever say to any police officer that talks to you.
That's what my dad told me. But at that point of time, I was just mad because it happened 4 straight nights.
Yeah.
So my reaction became different each and every time. Because at first it started off, am I under arrest or am I free to go? That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But after the second night, going third night, I started to get a little agitated. The fourth night, I'm like, all right now. And then...
Was it the same police officer each time, or was it a different
It was
person?
a different white cop each time.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fifth night, it just so happened to be a black cop. And she recognized me. And she's like, you used to go to Proviso West? I'm like, yeah, I did. I had come... I think I had a Black History class with her. And she's like, oh, yeah, So, and she was like, she said, you work here? I said, yeah, I work here. I can show you my time sheet. Showed her my time sheet. She was, oh, damn, you was here for a while. She says, well, it's all good. Well, now that I know you work here, they won't bother you. And ever since then, they stopped bothering me. Now, they would drive by every now and again, but they never came out their car. And I'm just like, did it really have to take all of that when all you had to do was ask the first fucking night? But no, you do this 4 straight nights.
The thing about one of the tactics that police officers do or use is intimidation. Now, it wasn't even necessary for your situation.
Was it?
But they use it all the time, so it doesn't really make a difference. But the thing is, they don't know who you are, and you say you work there, but as far as they're concerned, you literally could have gone in there, killed everybody, and stole the uniform and left.
Right.
As far as they're concerned. At the same time, though, they could have figured out all the information that they would have needed the first night.
By asking the right questions, too. Okay, if you don't believe I worked there, ask for my timesheet. Because when you clock in and clock out, especially at a bar, you always have a timesheet. It's a little piece of paper that comes out. The way that timesheet works is going to show when you clocked in and when you clocked out. It's going to verify your time, which is what I did. I kept my timesheet on me mainly because I'm in downtown LaGrange, and I don't trust none of these motherfuckers. That's why I kept my timesheet. I have to protect me.
You know, I was actually pretty lucky dealing with police officers because when I worked at GNC for a while, a lot of police officers would come by and get their supplements. So I knew a lot of police officers from all around, really, like Hillside, Maywood, Bellwood, Broadview, Westchester. You know, so it's like, oh, hey, you know, whatever. So randomly, people would see me in certain places. Oh, hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? You know, because I mean, I never had any issues with any police officers, except for whoever. I mean, I don't even remember who it was. Whoever pulled me, not pulled me over, but who put me in the
Cruiser.
No, it was I know the meat wagon, whatever it's called, whatever the thing where
What, they van?
Yeah, well, not the van though. It's like the.
I know what you're talking about.
I don't want to call it what it's normally called because apparently that's racist, but no, it is apparently. But
It is what it is.
well, you know, that's what it's called, or at least that's what everybody calls it. So I don't know what else it's called, you know. But they put me in the back of a vehicle, and I'm like, what the hell? Like what? I was literally blindsided. Like I'm literally just walking to work. Like that.
Good, what
Goodness.
the fuck, man?
You know. So anyway, but most people do have a difficult time, or they have it's not as easy for them to be able to put themselves in someone else's shoes.
Right.
So normally when people are, some people who are police officers, and I guess this is like in any job, apparently though it makes a big difference if it's a police officer, because they were probably bullied in school and they want to take it out on everybody else. Now the thing is, those type of people exist in a lot of jobs,
That is true.
but most places and jobs that they wouldn't have a gun.
That is true.
So when that and also apparently the mental profile that is set up, the mental profile that police officers have is very similar to the mental profile that criminals have. The only difference is that they chose to go into law enforcement instead. Now, the thing about that though, it doesn't necessarily mean that every police officer is clean. No, there are going to be some dirty cops.
Facts.
But there's going to be dirty people in every profession. But again, if you're a cop and you're dirty and you have a gun, I mean, that kind of changes stuff. If you're a bully and so on and so forth, there's certain groups of there's certain mental traits that people have that they kind of cluster in certain jobs, but certain things make those clusters, not as good as they could be. You know, like to a certain extent, you kind of have to be, and a lot of people will say that's not the case, but you kind of have to be a bit sociopathic to be a police officer. And when I say that, I'm not saying that all police officers are sociopaths.
No, you're definitely not saying all.
What I am saying, however, is that there are certain, and this is. So if you're empathic and you're a police officer, there's a lot of things that you wouldn't be able to do that are part of the job. Like if you know that by you giving someone a ticket that they won't have money, like it's like, you know what, I'm not going to give this person a ticket, it's not necessary. Or I'm not going to do this because of blah blah blah, or so on and so forth. Yeah, no, you'll get fired, because even though they say that's not the case, they do have quotas, even though they'll never admit it. As a matter of fact, they're going to say there's no, either they're going to say that no, we don't have quotas, one, or two, that's not true, or however they say it, even though they do it, they just don't call it that. Right. It's like, look, how come you're not going out there and writing tickets? It's like, well, because people didn't do anything. So you're telling me that you can't find someone who ran a red light or ran a stop sign or whatever. You can't find anyone who's done that. Well, if I don't see it,
Right.
I'm not going to make it up.
Right.
But it's like, well, if you're not writing enough tickets, we're going to have to get rid of you. There've been people who've said this, who were police officers who got rid of
No.
And then people will say, oh no, that's not the case. They actually did these things. Well, I mean, did they actually do those things? Or even, did they do them and you didn't care and you made it up later on just so you can get rid of them because they weren't writing tickets? I mean, the thing is, they can say whatever they want.
Right.
You know, but it's I don't know. But I guess what I'm getting at is that there's certain things that you wouldn't do unless you had to have at least situational sociopathic traits. Like, if you know that this person has a crappy car, you know, most likely they don't have very much money.
Mm-hmm.
They did a rolling stop through a stop sign, but it just so happened that there was nothing there. The reason why they rolled through was because there was nothing in front of them and they looked both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Now, fair enough, you'll say, oh, well, they still ran a stop sign, yes, but there was no danger. The thing is, I mean, I get the thing is you're supposed to enforce the rules, but why do they have the rules for safety? Now, the thing is, you're doing this because the person got caught, but if they weren't there, essentially, there's a joke that I have in my head. It's only against the law if you get caught. Because the thing is, if you do something and you don't get caught, no one actually does anything. You know what I'm saying? And that's the nature of the way it is. But the thing is, it doesn't mean that it's not against the law. It just means that you didn't get caught. But if you don't get caught, nothing happens. Even if it's against the law. So ideally, right now, there are people who are breaking the law and doing everything that they can to make sure that they don't get caught. Now, those people, well, yeah, that's a different subject. But I guess what I'm getting at though is that there are a lot of professions where you have to pick up certain sociopathic traits in order to function properly. Like, for instance, doctors.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be someone who's super empathic and be a doctor who's doing surgery. So part of the reason why, I mean, obviously you're going to want to save somebody. Yeah, that's a given. I get that. And you're going to want to make sure that they're safe and healthy, because, I mean, you're a doctor. That's the nature of what you do. But the reason why they call it an incision and they call it a patient,
Mm-hmm.
and they call, I'm making an incision in the patient as opposed to I'm cutting the person.
Mm-hmm.
That's two totally different images. That feels totally different in the body.
Mm-hmm.
A sociopath could say,
Mm-hmm.
I'm cutting into the person and be perfectly fine with it. They wouldn't bother them. Mm-hmm. But in order for a doctor to pick up the skills that they would need in order to be sociopathic, at least in certain situations, they call it an incision, and they call it the patient, or the body, actually. They call it the body. I'm making an incision in this part of the body. You know, they say that because if they say that I'm cutting into the person, it's difficult to be calm and cut into somebody. Well, somebody. You get what I'm saying. But if you say you're having it, and also like the way that they do it, they make it so that it doesn't even seem like it's a person when they're cutting into it,
Mm-hmm.
or putting the incision. So, and there's other things like lawyers. You have to be sociopathic, if not psychopathic in some cases, because you are putting someone in jail, potentially for something that's not even, like some of the things that people get put in jail for, especially the situations or the circumstances that they wind up being there.
Right.
Some people don't need to be in jail.
Right.
Some people do. Like, I definitely do think that murderers do need to be in jail, especially if they're like just murdering people just to have them dead. I mean, it's one thing if you're protecting someone. It's one thing if you're, if it was a straight up accident. Like, oh my God, crap. Putting someone who shot someone by accident in jail isn't really helping the situation. Because that person probably wouldn't touch another gun.
Right.
But putting them in jail isn't, I mean, if anything, they weren't a criminal. You made them a criminal by putting them around other criminals. I mean, however you think about that, however you look at it. But if someone did something that's not necessarily a major thing, like say for instance, they stole something from a store,
Mm-hmm.
and you're doing everything that you can to give them the harshest possible penalty for it when it's not even necessary. I mean, obviously you don't want people randomly stealing stuff from places. I get that.
Right.
I mean, I just don't appreciate that concept. Especially if the thing that they're stealing is from a mom and pop store, that makes it even worse. But if you're stealing from a conglomerate, it doesn't make it better. But I mean, it's accepted that if you are going to steal from someone, you want to steal from the rich people and not the poor people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, however that goes. I mean, do everything you can to buy your stuff and afford whatever you buy and such. I mean, as opposed to stealing stuff if you can help it. I mean, whatever. But what I'm getting at though is that if someone was stealing because they're hungry, that's totally different than stealing because you just want something. Like if someone's hungry and they're stealing to survive and you want to put them in jail because they don't have any money, which means they're going to stay in jail waiting for their court appearance, especially if, however that goes. There's all these different things. Like, they can't force someone to plead guilty, but if they don't plead guilty, they're going to wind up staying in jail for a year until their a court appearance is available, or however that goes. Which, that should not be legal in any manner.
Right.
If someone is guilty and they say they're guilty, fine. But if they say they're not guilty and they're not guilty and you keep them in jail for a year and a half, 2 years, and then you let them out, it's like we have no proof anything happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you literally just stole a year to 2 years from someone's life, and there's nothing they can, like, I'm not sure if I could do it, but I would sue. So you're saying that I didn't do anything, you couldn't find anything, you found out that I literally did nothing. I'm suing that entire, there's no reason why that should be legal. It just really isn't. Like, I'm not guilty, I'm not saying I'm guilty. I mean, well, if you say you're guilty, we'll let you out, but I'm not guilty. Well, yeah, but you're right. See, I would be the person who would be there for 20 years. I'm never saying I'm guilty, especially if I didn't do it.
Right.
Now, obviously, there's going to be some people who did do it and say they're not guilty. But, I mean...
I'm fighting all the way through.
Yeah.
I'm
Like-
gonna keep fighting.
Man, no. I mean, there's no way that a lawyer can say... I mean, and I'm obviously talking about the lawyers that do this type of thing.
Right.
Not all lawyers do. Some lawyers aren't even in that... have the ability to do that because they might be doing, like, constant... Whatever. What I'm saying is... Why is it legal where you can, if someone says they're not guilty, but you want them to plead guilty, you're able to keep them for a year with no charges, other than them thinking that you're guilty, even if you're not? That's not cool.
Yeah, I'm suing. Took a year away from my life where I could have done something.
Right. And the thing, yeah, I just don't appreciate that. I've seen that's happened a few times. There was one instance where there was this guy that was in jail, and there's no proof that he did it. There was the eyewitness, but everybody knows, like, it's known in the legal system that eyewitnesses are not that good. The human memory, unless it's been trained, is extremely fallible.
Right.
So you're gonna say that, I mean, also there's a bunch of different things like tunnel vision. When like if someone has a gun on you, you're most likely going to be focused directly on the gun, and everything else is going to disappear.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone has a gun on you, you may not even see the face of the person who's pulling the gun on you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you say it's obviously that person, you can't say that for sure.
Right.
Now the thing is, there are some people who are able to focus, who's able to, see everything. It's like, okay, nope, it was that person. Are you sure? Absolutely. Are you sure I said what I said? But the thing is, eyewitnesses are not 100% at best. I think they were like 40% accurate.
Mm-hmm.
But they take eyewitnesses as the mainstay, like the main thing. Like even fingerprints are fallible to a certain extent.
Hmm.
And actually, a lot of forensic science is, not all of it. I mean, obviously, the thing is that the chances of you having the exact same DNA as someone is extremely low, but it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
But no one wants to talk about that. But
That's true.
I don't know, man. It's like I have a difficult time watching Cops because even though it is true that I'm talking about the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even though it is true that a lot of the people who are breaking the law do some really stupid stuff, they say some really stupid stuff, and they're actually in most cases really stupid. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, they do what they're doing, they see what they're doing, whatever. But at the same time, there are a lot of things that shouldn't get to the point where it is because they should have said, am I being detained or am I free to go? I mean, for the most part, if that's all you say, if they do anything else, I mean, ideally there should only really be three things: am I being detained, or am I free to go? That's kind of two, and lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's it. There's this thing called the Reid technique. I think it's R-I-E or R-E-I. R-E-I. Yeah, I think it's R-E-I-D. That the police use. I don't know how widespread it is. I think it's, but there's this thing called the Reid technique where they can interrogate someone, and even if the person didn't do it, they will confess. Because the way it's set up,
Mm-hmm.
they will. Even though they say it's not legal to use hypnosis, to a certain extent they're using hypnotic techniques or partially hypnotic techniques.
Right.
But they're doing it in such a way where they get people to confess to things that they didn't do. And they find out later, years later, after they've been in jail for a while, that there's no way that this person could have done it, even though the person was saying originally, I didn't do it.
Yeah,
That's not cool.
that's not cool. And plus, I would have to kill you for real for fucking with my life. If I'm not suing you, I'm probably gonna kill you because you took parts of my life that I can never get back. Worse enough with my current lifestyle right now, I can't afford to go to jail. Because apparently, judging from the past fucking text messages I got, my life revolves around other people.
That's not necessarily a good thing. Your life should revolve around you, and you should have other people that visit.
Apparently that doesn't apply. And sometimes,
Well, that is because you choose not to do it.
and one thing I don't understand is that, because I hate to get off subject, but that what just happened in particular just really bothered the fuck out of me. Because earlier today I asked this person for some help.
Okay.
And I told that person, if I'm asking for this is affecting anything you got going on, don't give it to me.
Okay.
I put it out there saying, yo, I need this. You're going to get it back on this day.
Okay.
But if it's interfering with anything you have going on, do not give it to me. The person chose to give it to me.
Okay.
I do what I need to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, okay, you will get it back on this day.
Okay.
Just now, this person likes to play their numbers. She asked me, do I have company? I said, yes. And I left it at that. Now, she has the option of playing online, which is why I brought it up.
Okay.
The first thing she brings up is that you took the fucking money.
You mean you gave me the money?
And this is after I told her, if it's interfering with anything, don't give me the money. I will wait it out. I gave you the option of not doing it and me just sitting back and waiting. I can wait till Tuesday. It's not that many people I want to talk to anyway. But because I needed it for a particular situation that I got going on right now, I have to have a means of communication.
Right.
It's just so happened it fell at a bad time. So, for you to curse me out for a situation in which I gave you an out, like, I feel like this particular person has a problem when I have a life. I have company. I have people over. I live in my own space. I want to live. I don't need to get up in the morning and see whether or not you're happy. I can't live around you. I'm done doing that. I can't do it anymore. I don't mind doing stuff for you, but understand, there are people that want to kick it with me. There are women that are interested in me. What the fuck is going to happen when I decide to start dating? Or if my relationships with a female get serious? Or if I have a child?
Yeah.
Like what's going to happen when that gets involved? Where I don't have time for you. I got a son to raise. I got a podcast to
Could be a
run.
daughter.
Or daughter. Son or daughter. Or non-binary.
So, ha. Okay. So
You walked right into that.
So I guess we got a title for the.
Yes.
I guess we. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. But, like, I may have a son or a daughter to raise. Or a question mark. Or non-binary. Or a portable toaster.
What?
Hey, they identify as whatever the fuck.
Okay.
Anyway, I may have a family to take care of. My life shouldn't revolve around you. I have things. You don't even bother the people that have families this much. They bother you. I don't bother you.
Well, how come so how come she chose to go through you as opposed to doing it online?
Because, Kapoor, what she said all she had was cash. Now,
Okay.
fine, I didn't know that. But I also didn't know that what you gave me interfered with what you had doing with that. But I gave you the option of not doing it. I said specifically, if this interferes with anything, I never said something specific. I said anything. Regardless of how big or small that situation is. Anything. If this is involved with anything you have going on, do not give it to me.
Yeah.
And I will wait till Tuesday. I will wait. Who's that important for me to talk to? The only reason I ask is because I have to keep a line of communication between me and a particular group of people. That's it. But I said, if if it interferes with anything, do not give it to me. Please, don't do it. Because I don't want to get into that argument. And the worst part about freedom, which goes back to the jail conversation, is to be free and not feel like it. I don't feel that way when it comes to my family or my mental space. I don't feel free. I feel like this is a prison for me. I feel that way.
That's not healthy.
And I feel like this is my prison. And I hate that. Like, because I'm a free man by law. I don't commit crimes.
Mm-hmm.
I keep away from police. If they are around me, I acknowledge their presence and I keep it fucking moving. And I don't hang out with idiots. I don't hang out with idiots. The most we do is say ignorant shit.
Yep.
But we don't go out and do dumb shit. If I'm with y'all, I know I'm safe because I know nobody's gonna do something stupid. Macho, all he does is say ignorant shit. He doesn't do ignorant shit. Ricky says ignorant shit, but he doesn't do it. We all say ignorant shit, but we're not going to go out here and be ignorant. We're going to go out here and abide by the law and be law-abiding citizens, especially because we're black men. The trouble intensifies for us, whether we like it or not. But at the same time, if I'm going out to the bar with y'all and drinking, I know that regardless of what happened, the only thing we're going to do is laugh. If we go out to a restaurant, the only thing we're going to do is laugh. If we're here in this apartment, all we're going to do is laugh.
And some crack.
Okay. You can have that one, all right? You can have that one. You can have that one.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. This is all hearsay. Anyway, especially when you're non-binary, you know, you gotta watch your back there for the non-binary folks. Or the refrigerators, portable toasters, Game Gears.
So what? So the portable toaster is like it has a battery pack, so you're able to make toast wherever you are.
Yes.
It's actually impressive. I appreciate it.
I would appreciate a portable toaster.
Man, I have all this bread and I have a toaster, but I'm in the woods and I want some toast. Ding!
Portable toaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, more serious note. What?
Portable heaters with bread slots. Bam! $1 million idea. Don't steal it.
It's going on YouTube.
Damn it. Okay, okay, this is what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to hold off for a bit while I patent this idea first, and then put it down. Bam.
All right.
What?
Anyway, more serious note.
Oh, really?
I know
Here's
you
bread
was
slots.
probably being serious with that.
It's right there, man. They're already providing heat. You got bread. Come on.
All right, man. I like the way you're being loud without being loud. Is that like a non-binary trick?
Get the hell out.
Anyway, but no, I hate that fucking feeling. I really do.
Then don't eat toast, man. Gosh.
No, toast is great.
See? Told you. I told you to come around.
Shut up, man. You knew what I was talking about. I hate.
But yeah, just regular bread. I can't stand that stuff. That's why I toast it.
Oh, fuck out of here. I like regular bread.
How dare you?
What? The
So why don't you have a cheese sandwich? Would you have a grilled cheese sandwich?
When you black, you gonna have both. Grilled cheese has gotten me through a lot of life
Oh yeah,
situations.
grilled cheese is great, but just a regular cheese sandwich, now I'm good. I'd rather grill it.
Well, sometimes we didn't always have heat.
Have an iron?
Well, with no
I'm not kidding.
with no electricity, and the stove is electric.
Well, wait. Candles. Bam.
That would be fine if I wasn't so clumsy.
Well, we'll learn eventually.
I mean,
You'll get real warm real quick. And then you'll need a place to stay.
so. Well, I apparently got a place to stay, and I don't get treated that way. The only time I feel like I have a place to stay and it's my place is if I have sex and I don't have to like
Sleep in the wet spot?
I ain't gonna even lie. Sleeping in the wet spot is like a sense of accomplishment because you know you the reason it's there. Like it's like marking your territory.
Well, if you're lucky, there's only a wet spot.
Yes, that is important.
I mean, it's like, I don't want to sleep in the wet spot. It's all the wet spot, baby.
It's all a wet spot. You was a wet spot. That's why I inserted my penis. You had a wet spot. You are a wet spot. Gosh, damn it. For
Oh
real.
my goodness.
There's nothing like having a wet spot on your face.
Oh my God.
Anyway, but yes, that's about the only time I'm really like, oh, I live alone.
No, wait. You sleep in the wet spot where you live alone?
No.
That doesn't sound right.
No,
man.
just from the other previous conversation we were having. Like when I have sex with a chick and she stays over or some shit,
Oh, okay.
that's when I realize I live alone. Like she's still here, or there's a wet spot in my bed from great sexual activity, and I don't have to explain shit to nobody or tell her to be quiet because my mom's in the other room.
Wait. Why would they know there's a wet spot?
No, I meant they don't know there's a wet spot, but you know women aren't necessarily quiet when they're getting good sex.
Yeah.
And if you live with your parents, you gotta tell them to tone it down a little bit.
Shut up.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it feels good to have sex and you don't have to do that. That's when I realized, oh shit, I live alone.
No, you know what, baby, let it out.
Look, get your feelings out. Get it out there. Do that. Yeah. Opposed to, oh, that's cool. Damn.
Shut
I don't want to explain this. Or you gotta fuck in a certain spot in your room that doesn't make a lot of
Right.
Or you have to tone it down on the stroke because the skin slapping.
Oh.
I know you hate that. Where you gotta tone down your stroke because of the skin slapping. Because
Why?
why?
Martial arts movie.
Like for instance, why the fuck does your room decide it wants to sound empty as fuck when you're having sex, even though you got a bunch of shit in your?
I'm telling you, dude, put on a martial arts movie.
Right, blended in with the moans.
Right.
Like shit.
What you gonna do? Play Street Fighter.
Playing Street Fighter, right? No, don't say that. Right, don't say that. Because what if they want to play with you?
No.
But come on, the Street Fighter's a
No.
great game. No,
No, I'm practicing.
I'm practicing. Come on, man.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. Damn. But yeah, like, that's when I realized I live alone. When I don't have to do any of the extra stuff during sex. Like give her a pillow to scream in. Or try to fuck at an angle so that way these walls don't catch the skin slaps or at least open up a window. Like, I don't have to do any of that. Like, so yeah, like, that's about it. Or what I could cook for myself and don't have to share. Like, as soon as we get done, I'm probably gonna. It's too hot for me to cook right now. That's why I want to order some food.
Yeah, I get that.
But unfortunately, my bank account says, Donnie, you cannot order anything. And listen, I understand and I respect my bank account. But you also gotta understand, it's 80 degrees inside my apartment right now. If I turn on this stove to cook anything,
What about the air conditioner?
the air conditioner is about to get cut on because we're about to end and it's getting hot in this bitch. And yeah, I would turn on the AC. That's probably when it's okay for me to cook. But outside of that, I don't feel like cooking because I've been doing that all week, making meals, which is fine.
You don't like cooking?
No, I enjoy it. I enjoy it now because it gives me a chance to like experiment with different dishes, learn how to cook different dishes. I wish I had the pots and pans so I could try these dishes. Which Tuesday, that's what I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get me a pot. What did they call them damn set? Pots and pan set. So that way I could try new things cooking. Because one, especially with me trying to get back into dating, and I don't always like going out. And I'm also trying to switch my diet. I'm trying to come up with different ways of eating what I want to, but from a healthier standpoint.
But seriously, get a slow cooker.
But
At the minimum, get a slow cooker. But you also may want to get one of the multi cookers. So it's like a air fryer. You can bake with it, toast it,
but
make yogurt.
But
I'll never
Tuesday,
use that.
when I get paid, I'm definitely gonna get me a pots and pans set, and I'm going to get me a slow cooker. I want a slow cooker because, like I said, I always wanted to cook pot roast and potatoes. Oh God, pot roast and potatoes! I haven't had that in so long.
Add some potatoes and onion. I mean, not potatoes. Little baby carrots or small carrots and some onion. Maybe celery if you choose. I mean, you don't have to do the celery, but the other ones they actually.
But the baby carrots and the onions, I would definitely add because I've tried it that way, and the flavor is amazing.
Yeah.
So I always wanted to do that. I always wanted to have meatloaf.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
I haven't had meatloaf in years.
So apparently, meatloaf isn't just one meat, depending on how it's made. It's actually beef and pork mixed.
And I actually cut out pork.
Why? I'm just curious. I mean,
No, I wanted to change my diet, so I was like, I want to see how I feel after I cut
no
out
bacon.
turkey bacon.
So no bacon.
Damn, I'm gonna miss bacon. Bacon.
Bacon, pork chops, ribs. I mean, obviously they have beef ribs, but they just taste like steak.
Right.
It tastes like a piece of beef. I mean, they're good, but they're not pork ribs. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I didn't know there was a difference for many years until I had some beef ribs, and it's like, I mean, they're good, but these don't taste right. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, they're definitely good. They're
I
delicious.
may go back to once a month eating pork.
Well, I guess what I was getting at. So normally they'll have the pork ground, and they'll have the beef ground, and they'll either have it mixed together or you mix it together yourself. Do the beef, but get some ground bacon. Mix it together. Cook that. Delicious.
Try that.
I'm saying.
No, I'm gonna try that. No, but I may go back to eating pork once a month like I used to.
You do what you gotta do.
because it's a lot of good pork.
But if you're gonna do it, at the very minimum, bacon.
At the very minimum, bacon. I haven't had pork chops in a while. Pork chops don't taste the same.
Then you might want to cook them differently. Like, okay, for instance, so I have one of the Ninja Foodies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a slow cooker. It's the one of the multiple things.
Mm-hmm.
And recently, I've been using the air fryer thing on there. So I've been cooking stuff using that.
Mm-hmm.
But normally, before I was actually getting like a huge I was getting a bunch of chicken. Whatever I was getting, whatever lower priced chicken they'd have, I just put it all in the slow cooker, and I would basically make it was I don't want to call it pulled pork because it wasn't pulled pork. I guess it was pulled chicken. But basically, I would tear the chicken apart and everything, and I'd have it in there, and I would eat that with whatever I'd have, and I would even do the same thing with a huge I guess a pot. Well, pot roast is beef, right?
Yes.
Well, pork loin. I cook a whole pot of pork loin. That'll last me for an entire week. I'd season it and flavor it with whatever I'd be using, whatever. Turned out delicious, but only because I made it that way. Because, well, I'm saying, like, well, why would you make it so it tastes bad? I mean, But so I would make that. It was, it was good, and I'd have that for the rest of the week.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, now here's where I said, oh man, wait a second, because I don't know why I even thought about this, but I made the pork and it was like there was some fat in there, some oil.
Mm-hmm.
So I shredded it up and I put it into a container, just to save it for later. And it's like I thought, well, wait a second, you know what I could do? I could make a really nice ramen bowl. So I made I had the pork and it was shredded, but that's fine. I took it out and I had some of the oil in there because that adds some of the flavor. I had three things of ramen. I poured the flavor packets and I dumped them into some sriracha sauce. And I mixed that up and I added some other seasoning into it. It may have been adobo. And I think that may have been it. And I mixed that in. And I put a lot of the sauce in there and I mixed it in. Because the thing is, I like it spicy. Whatever. But the thing is, it didn't really turn out that spicy, but the broth was spicy enough because it had all the other stuff in there too.
Right.
So I mixed it together and everything. And I poured the water into that. So when I mix it up, it would make a spicy broth. And then I would put the ramen, the noodles, in there until it got soft enough. Then I'd scoop it out, let the juice drop out, and I'd put it into the bowl where the meat is. And I'd do that with all three. And then I would pour the sauce into it. I mean, the sauce and the water into it. And if I need to, I'd pour a little bit extra water in there. And at the time, I was, I would soft boil an egg, like 2 or 3 of them. I think it was 3 or 4. And I cut them in half and I put them in the bowl with, oh man, it was so good. Man,
I haven't had good ramen. It's so good.
Now the thing is, the noodles were not the best because they were just ramen. Like, it was top ramen.
Right, it wasn't the Japanese ramen.
Right.
Yeah.
But everything else was good. It turned out extremely well. And I think but I don't know where to get, like, and I'd probably go to, have you ever been to Mitsuwa?
To Mitsuwa?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
What? So you're telling me you've been to Japan, but you haven't been to Mitsuwa?
Wait. I probably have.
Apparently there's another place down the street from it that does a similar thing.
To Mitsuwa.
I haven't been to that, and I don't know what it's called. A friend of mine on
It's
Facebook.
called Mitsuwa?
MITSWA?
Close. MITSUWA.
Oh, UWA. Okay. Oh, UWA. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, you've been there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
This place is fucking awesome.
I know, right?
Oh, hell Hell
Yeah.
yes.
They have.
Yeah, me and a couple non-binary friends
You
went.
son of you mother. Ooh, I'm gonna get you. No, but that place is great. I haven't been there in a couple of years. Well, I've forgotten about the whole pandemic thing, but I haven't been there in a couple of years. Actually, probably more than a couple of years.
Oh yeah,
But-
Mitsu.
But look, there's another place that's near there. Apparently, it's down the street from there. That also does a similar thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know the name of it. Like I said, I don't know what the name of it is. A friend of mine on Facebook is trying to find out. Hopefully, he's going to find out where it is, and I guess I'll let our viewers and listeners know. But I guess I didn't say where Mitsu was either.
Yeah, but
And you can figure it out.
yeah, y'all can figure it out.
And if anybody knows where that other place is that's like right down the street from it, please let us know.
Yes, because I haven't had good ramen in a while, and it's been years since I've been to a Mitsuya. I would like to. Now that it's getting hot out, I'm going to a Japanese spot to have miso ramen.
There's some places.
And I also want to go to Chinatown and have food.
I'll go with you. I haven't been there.
Okay, well,
I take that back. I think I have been there, but I don't think that I've had their food there. I've gone to a few ramen places. There's a friend of mine who I met at one of the Comic Cons, and whenever she's in town, I will go with her. I'll just hang out with her because like she's probably here for like the weekend or something, and so I'll hang out with her. And every chance I get, I go to a ramen place, just because I don't really get a chance to go to a ramen place.
okay. Yeah, so yeah, we got to pick a date to go to Chinatown because, like I said, I've been to Chinatown, but I've never like actually had food from Chinatown. And I love Chinese food. I love Japanese food.
Mm-hmm.
I love Asian food. Period.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a while. I have to go out there.
So you do like Indian food then?
Yes.
Okay.
First Indian dish I ever tried was Indian curry.
Oh yeah. Spicy stuff?
Yes.
Yes.
The authentic spicy shit.
Yep.
Man.
The curry of life.
Yes, that was awesome. And then I had the Asian curry.
Ooh.
And then
Wait, Asian curry.
the Japanese curry
Well,
and rice.
see, this is an interesting thing. If I'm not mistaken, and I could be, if I am, let me know. Isn't India Asian?
It could be. I never thought about that.
Most people don't, but I'm pretty sure it's Asian, even though it's not Asian.
Asian, right. We gonna look that up after this. Yeah, that would be nice. But
That's why
like I
brought it
said,
up. Go ahead.
I love curry. Curry is one of my favorite dishes, if not the favorite dish.
Yeah, I really wish they had done more with broccoli. He was awesome.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do? Go ahead.
You know what, y'all? We're 2 hours and almost 40 minutes in. I think this podcast has been long enough. This is probably our longest podcast when it's just me and you. When it's just me and you, it's only about an hour and some change.
No, we've done at least 2.
We did?
Pretty sure.
Oh, wow. I gotta look. But with that being said, y'all, I'm your host, Dontavious Rowe. This is my brother, Vince.
So,
I just want to let y'all know that I love y'all because I haven't forgot our outro. I love y'all. Shouts out to Macho, Ricky, Ty. Y'all gotta show the fuck up. I love y'all. Darrell, I love you, bro. The Jenkins family, I love you. Tops family, Mama Tops, Papa Tops, I love y'all. I love y'all. So, that being said, a round of applause for the love. And we're out.